Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Just got the Roxor started, but as you can see I definitely have a very bad leak at my fuel filter. So today's video is not really about this, so we'll turn it off. But we will be talking today about the Hummer H2, which I just acquired. So it's quite an impressive looking vehicle from outside, and the looks is what really sells many people on the Hummer, especially the H2. Three versions have been made so far. You have the H1, which was made for the US military. And then on the insistence of I believe Arnold Schwarzenegger and others, it actually went into production for the civilian market. Back in the day, a lot of celebrities had the Hummer H1, and I believe Arnold Schwarzenegger was one of the launch customers, and he actually bought two of these of the H1s. And then in 2002, for the 2003 model year, the H2 was launched, and it ran from 2003 model year to 2009, and during that period about 153,000 of these were produced and sold here in the United States. They were produced by AM General in Indiana. I think that's the same factory that actually produced the Hummer for the military. So these were produced in that same factory, and there were also factories in other parts of the world, I believe in Russia and South Africa. I might be missing some other locations, but those are the two that come to mind. So initially for 2002-2003, the Hummer was powered by a 6.0 liter V8, that a Vortec V8 that put out 316 horsepower. And then from 2004 to 2007, you had the power that was bumped up to 325 horsepower. And then 2008 2009, you had a 6.2 liter V8 that produced 300 and I believe 93 horsepower. So that's basically for the power plant. For the transmission, 2002 basically to about 2007, you had a 4-speed transmission, and then 2008-2009 you had a newer 6-speed transmission. That's for the general overview, but we go a little bit in depth right now. Some of the common problems that people face with the Hummer, of course, the one that everybody knows, it sucks gas. It consumes a lot of gas. The SUV itself weighs about 6,000 pounds, and it has a gross vehicular weight rating GVWR of about 8,000 pounds. And during its production run, vehicles above 8,000 pounds, I believe, or is it 8,500 pounds, were exempt from reporting their actual gas mileage. So this never had or was never tested by the EPA in the United States. So it has no official gas mileage rating, but people are reporting anywhere between 8 to 14 miles per gallon on the Hummer H2. Common problems: the frame tends to rust quite a bit. It has a fair amount of oil leaks that you would find, and most people just let it go because the cost to repair, all those minor leaks at times just far exceeds the value of the vehicle. You have the exhaust manifold that tends to also have problems. And apart from those, if you use good quality lubricants and you take good care of the SUV, then it will, for the most part, it's quite reliable. It's built on a GM 3/4 ton chassis up front and a 1/2 ton chassis in the back. and in the middle I believe it's specific for the Hummer. So parts are very readily available, and the interchange is quite good, so there's no shortage of parts. For the body panels and some of the interior bits, they are specific for the Hummer. And bear in mind, it's been quite a few years, more than maybe going to 12 years now, since the last one rolled off the assembly line. Only 153,000 were produced, so it's getting scarce. Parts are getting scarce. Aftermarket parts are getting harder and harder to get by. Few things I want to show you guys on the original Hummer right here. This was actually attached to the frame of the vehicle, and it was designed such that it could be dropped from helicopters or aircraft with parachutes, and they would attach right here. But for this version, that's how you open up the hood. Do that, and on this side you do the same. And then I just have to go in. Believe it or not, this actually has a hood release, which is right there. And you pop that up, and that will release the hood. Once you do that, then you can come here and pull. There you go. That's the 6.0 liter Vortec engine. This one is a 2003, excuse me, and that's where the hood latch is right there. The vehicle itself is actually quite high. Mine has the air ride suspension in the back. It's not functioning right now. I'll have to diagnose that later. But a common conversion is people changing from the air ride to springs in the back. So as you can see, the vehicle sits actually quite tall. Those are equivalent of 35-inch tires, about the same like that. But to access the engine for most purposes, I have to use some kind of ramp to stand on there to be able to reach inside the engine. Common failure on these Hummers is you could be driving down the street and then suddenly you lose your power steering or your brakes, and that is usually due to your power steering pump failing, because if you look at the Hummer setup here for the brakes, it actually has what they call the hydro boost. Most vehicles you will see a diaphragm kind of setup over here for the air brakes that uses vacuum from the engine. This one actually uses pressure from the power steering pump, and that's a high pressure line there. It goes in there to assist the brake, and here you have the master cylinder sitting in front of the hydro boost mechanism. Over here you can see the return line, low pressure return line in rubber that goes down back to the reservoir for the power steering fluid. This uses Mercon 3 for the power steering fluid, and you have to flush the system every so often, that way it doesn't get clogged up and fail on you. Okay, I'll just close this. I won't lock it for now. Let's push it down slowly. Okay, it rests right there. So the vehicle is actually quite wide, and because of that, DOT regulations require marker lights to be installed, which is about the same thing that happens with the Ford Raptor and also I believe the TRX. Common problems that happen also with the Hummer, you have the seats that will the leather will crack, and these are easily replaceable. You can get aftermarket seat covers. You can take this out easily, about a 1-hour process. You can see on the other side it's also cracked. The quality of the plastics is not the best. It doesn't feel premium. You can see everything rattles and shakes, but I guess back in the day this was quite solid and looked really good, but it didn't age very well. The shifter knob, everything looks great, but with age it rattles quite a bit. The Hummers came with for all-time all-wheel drive, and then you also had the four-wheel drive, high, low, and then a locking differential. So a common mistake is people will bump into one of these buttons and then report that their steering is quite hard to steer, and or what would have happened is they have bumped into maybe four-wheel drive high, and then they're having all sorts of issues. So the normal setting is that you have to have it on this button. That's what should be illuminated. If you have it here, you have four-wheel drive high. Here is all-wheel drive, and here is four-wheel drive low, and here is to lock the differential in the rear. It came with a Bose sound system and also automatic climate controls. OnStar, I think it was standard, and that's pretty much for it. This one had the air ride, so you can see right there where you control the air ride, height control at the very bottom. Another common failure point on these Hummers is the instrument cluster. All of those gauges have stepper motors, and some of the motors would fail, and then you would have incorrect readings. If you go like on Facebook marketplace, eBay, you would see a whole slew of clusters for GM trucks and SUVs from this era that are for sale. This one came with the sunroof, and you also have the light switch there for the lights on the roof. A common problem also is these lights will break, and then they would allow moisture, water, rain to come into the cab and cause problems. You have heated front seats, and you also have, where is it? You can drop all the mirrors with one button. I'm not sure which one it is. But this is for the heated seats though. Alright, let's close that. Come to the back. That's what the back looks like. Quite spacious. I haven't had time to clean the interior, but that's what the back looks like. And then here you have the mount for the spare tire right there. You have climate controls for the rear right there. Alright, let's step to the back. So another issue with these Hummers is this handle right here. That's a very well documented failure point. So those are becoming increasingly difficult to come by. But if it's broken on yours, all what you have to do is stick your finger in here and you can release the latch. The bumpers are plastic, and at times they don't fade very well, but down here it's all metal, and you have D-rings from the factory. And also there you have the attachment for the hitch. I guess that's pretty much all what I could say about the Hummer for now. And like I said, there's this guy on YouTube. His channel is Daily Driven H2. I will try to put a link. His Hummer has that problem I described to you guys, where the brakes have gone out, and he's in the process of having it fixed. I'm thinking it's probably his power steering pump. Either it's clogged up, or the fluid is dirty, or he might just need a new hydro boost system. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around with this quick tour of the Hummer H2, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye.